Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
You're at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already laughing.
What'd you get, Skip?
Yeah.
What'd you get over the last week or so?
What'd I get?
Yeah, what'd you get?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What did you gift yourself?
Gift myself?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you know what I'm talking about. But I know what you got.
Yeah?
I'm going to catch you coming up Avenue of the Stars.
Oh, you mean my car?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
You're going to catch 755 horsepower?
Well, I might get me one.
and I have stick shift. I don't drive your automatics.
Well, I might
I'm old school. I shift myself.
No. Well, I might get me one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get you what?
Get me a ZR1.
Yeah.
A blue one.
Get a new one and I'll blow you off the road.
No. The new one look like a Ferrari.
Thank you. Thank you.
But it looked nice, though, Skip.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
surprised.
you.
I was like, I think Skip's going to like this one.
Yeah,
But
I think so.
I'm having flashes of the two of you racing down the 405.
It won't be
In
much
the
one.
dark.
It wouldn't be much of one.
Yeah.
We will save that for
What would
another
you be
day.
in?
Don't worry about it.
A jet?
A spaceship.
We'll get to that, I'm sure. We got a lot to get to on today's show. Tom Brady is about to be 42. Good old Tom, but is he better than ever? And is Baker Mayfield already an elite quarterback? Yeah, but we are going to start with Ezekiel Elliott. We have reached day 4 of his holdout. Stephen Jones says that Zeke has reached a, quote, received a, quote, solid offer, but NFL Network reports Zeke's side has not given a counter offer. He reportedly wants more than the deal Todd Gurley signed last year for nearly $15 million per year, but one NFL executive told Yahoo that teams believe the Rams overpaid for Gurley, and most teams are only willing to pay a great running back about $12 million per year. Shannon, should the Cowboys make Zeke the highest paid running back?
Absolutely. And Skip, this is how it normally works. Whether or not you think Zeke is the best running back, normally the last guy that gets paid, that's the guy that makes the most money. Do I think Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in football? No. Do I think Carson Wentz is the best quarterback in football? No. But they were the last guy to sign, so they get the most money. And you know what's going to happen, Skip? The next quarterback that signs, he's going to get more money than the previous 2 or 3 guys that signed. That's just the way it works. The problem that I have is that when people says, well, they overpaid Todd Gurley. Don't worry about that. I remember when I was going through my contract negotiations, Skip, I didn't worry about what Tony Gonzalez made. I didn't worry about what Ben Coates made because their value to their team and my value to my team was something entirely different. Zeke is it. This is how their offense generate. Everything runs through Ezekiel Elliott. So his value might be a little more than what Todd Gurley's value is to the to the LA Rams. So don't be worried about, well, they paid him too much. No, you can't put a number on Zeke. I don't have a problem with Zeke holding out and the other 2 guys that are in line for contracts, the Amari Coopers and the Dak Prescott, because this is what we know, Skip. In his first 3 years, Ezekiel Elliott will take more punishment than Amari Cooper will take over the life of his career. He's taking more.
I don't know. Running backs been dropping like flies lately.
Skip. Okay, Ezekiel Elliott is about 1,000 carries into his career. Do you think Amari Cooper is going to take 1,000 hits in his career?
No, but he tends to take more dangerous, precarious hits maybe than Zeke does. Go ahead.
But it's the accumulation.
Yeah, okay.
This is why the running back position has such a short shelf life. He doesn't play as long as these other positions. And Dak, I got no problem with Dak. If that's the way he wants to handle his situation, I don't talk about another man's money, but I'm talking about Ezekiel Elliott. He's led the league in rushing 2 of his 3 years. The year that he missed 6 games, Skip, he averaged more yards per carry and more per attempts. That tells me if he plays the full 16-game season, he's going to lead the league in rushing again. So he would have been 3 for 3. Jerry Jones is not a dummy. He understands that in order for him to get, because he says he doesn't have very many of these, he was talking at the combine. He says, I don't have very many combines. Well,
I brought that up to you the other day.
Exactly. So if he doesn't have that many combines, Skip, he has even fewer chances at a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And he knows in order to get to where they want to be, he needs everybody on that roster healthy and happy. Ezekiel Elliott is the butter, Skip. He's the engine, not to minimize anybody else, but it starts and stops with Ezekiel Elliott. And he's well within his right to hold out because that's the only leverage he has. And when you hold out, Skip, you got to be willing to go the distance now. It's like if you, look, Grandma used to say, boy, if you start something, you got to finish it. Well, Zeke, you started this now. Are you willing to go the distance? Are you willing to miss games in the regular season in order to get what you feel you deserve? I feel he deserves to be the highest paid running back, and I don't have a problem with him holding out.
Just quick point of order before I answer Jenny's question. The, what'd you call it, butter?
Yeah.
The engine, the straw that stirs the drink is the quarterback. He just is. And I'm going to get more into that in just a second, but I'm not going to let you get away with saying that before I go. So here's the biggest problem that Jerry Jones faces as we speak. Todd Gurley did not deserve Todd Gurley money.
Okay.
Period. End of story.
I mean, he didn't deserve it.
The Rams made a monumental mistake, and the Rams absolutely wrecked the running back market that now Jerry Jones has to cope with on his home front and his own front. The problem is that the Jets didn't help this either because obviously the market had dried up for Le'Veon Bell. And the Steelers, remember, that they were saying the same thing Jerry is saying. They said no to Le'Veon.
Okay.
He wanted that kind of money, and he held out the whole year last year because he wanted Todd Gurley money. And the Steelers said, that is insane. No, we're going to draw this line in our sand. We're not going to cross the Todd Gurley line because the Rams shouldn't have crossed the Todd Gurley line. So the market drives up for Le'Veon, and Jerry's watching. You know, he says a lot of dumb things, but he ain't stupid when it comes to cap wizardry and ranking players. So he watched nobody offer Le'Veon anything until the Jets panicked and bidding against themselves. They gave Le'Veon $13.1 million a year to Todd's $14.4. And I love Todd Gurley, and this is no insult to him, no disrespect to him personally. We've had him on the show. He's a really good young man.
Sure, yeah.
But he didn't deserve $14.4. I have no idea what they were thinking, but they leaped over the cliff when they gave him that money, and they're going to pay long term for giving him that much money.
You do know how this can be perceived as collusion, where the NFL, where the owners get together and says, we want to suppress the running back market, and this is as high.
That's not collusion. That's just the market setting itself.
Okay, well, if the market...
That's devaluing the running back position.
Well, the Rams didn't.
Okay, I just said they wrecked it.
But you can't say because they paid what they felt the value of the guy they had, you can't say they wrecked the market.
Okay.
You worry about your guy.
Okay, but you said you never worried about what anybody else got. And
No.
so Jerry's with you on that. He's saying, I can't worry about what those fools gave that running back, right?
Right.
I've got to give mine what he's worth to us.
Okay.
And he ain't worth no $14.4
Well, don't
million
pay him.
dollars. Okay, well, that's what's happening right here, right now. I'm not even sure they think he's worth $13.1 that Le'Veon got. And I'm going to remind you, Adam Gase was furious with Mike McCagnon, who is no longer the GM of the Jets, for giving Le'Veon that money when nobody else was willing to pay him that money.
Right.
So again, the market got set, and then it got set again. So here we go now. No running back. Remember what the great Mel Kiper said for years? It's not that he goes to dime a dozen, and he ate his words a little bit on Zeke, because I love Zeke, and I believe in Zeke, but I don't believe in him to the tune of 4 years and $57 million. What did he get? $45 million guaranteed? That's insanity. That could wreck the Cowboys' chances of winning the Super Bowl if you go beyond Todd Gurley money.
Skip, what that tells me is that you ever see a running back get that kind of money with Tom Brady? You ever see a running back get that kind of money with Drew Brees? You ever see it get that kind of money with Aaron Rodgers?
Okay.
So that tells me that they value that running back position because they do not have a guy that's elite. Now, occasionally you'll get an anomaly like a Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon says, I need more than what y'all going to pay me right now.
He wants Todd Gurley money.
No, he ain't getting that.
Okay, well, that's what the Chargers are saying as we speak.
Well, here, the reason why he's not getting that, Skip, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's only had one season in which he's played finish the season. So he's not going to get that because of his injury history. Zeke has no injury history. He has field issues. That's another story. You can address that if you like.
I'm going to address it right now. That's why in my book, in today's NFL, no running back is worth $57 million for 4 years, because that's 4 more years, especially a running back who has had so many off-field incidents to the point that you continue to remind me Jerry Jones must sleep with his cell phone under his pillow because at 4:30 in the morning, he's liable to get another call about, whoops, Zeke made another bad decision very late at night.
So let me get this. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. He's worth these headaches at $8 million. We got no problem, Jenny, paying you $8 million, and you get in much trouble you won't. But when you want a raise, now see, that's when that becomes a problem. You can see how Zeke is saying, you got no problem with me taking 400 carries at $8 million and be getting in trouble, but you got a problem paying me 14, 15, getting in trouble, taking 400. Oh, okay, I see.
Well, he does. He's going to have to see the light.
Jerry
Jones has been with Zeke every step of the way through all of his offseason issues.
And I appreciate that,
He
Skip.
has had his back. Now it's time for Zeke to have some of Jerry's back. Now it's time for Zeke to pay Jerry back just a little bit. And here's my point. It's okay with me if he gives Zeke at or near Todd Gurley money, even if he gives him the very same deal Todd got. But that's not what they're asking for. They want way beyond Todd Gurley money, and you can't do that. You can't keep setting the bar.
Why not?
Well, you can say in and of yourself, I'm way better than Todd Gurley. And you're right. You're better than Todd Gurley. But you can't make the same mistake the Rams made, or you're going to wreck your Super Bowl chances.
But hold on a second. Who said it was a mistake?
I did. I'm saying it.
Oh, my goodness.
Or we've got the Charles Robinson piece that you referred to on Yahoo. And to go more specifically into quotes, these are anonymous quotes. This is a veteran contract advisor. Teams with running backs hate that Gurley deal. It's in their heads. Now other franchises are trying to get it under control and roll back salaries.
Okay.
It's lunacy what the Rams did. This is the contract advisor. He says, it comes down to whether some teams believe the Rams did a bad deal with Todd, then it's whether you have the guts, he didn't say guts, to say, we're not even going to consider that a real bar in these negotiations. Okay, so that's out there. Every NFL team with a good running back is saying, we can't do that.
Yeah, but how many of those teams have a good run? Now, Skip, if you got Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, you can say, hell no, I'm not giving you that kind of money. But what happens when you don't have those guys?
Well, then you don't have this problem.
Exactly. Since you don't have one of those guys, you've got that problem.
So you just told me, making my case, that the Patriots don't have a Todd Gurley, but they just won the Super Bowl because they mixed and matched a rookie and a veteran and another veteran, right?
The thing is, what Tom Brady has done for the last 14, 15 years is that he's taking less money so Coach Belichick can sprint it around and get a defensive guy here and an offensive guy there. Okay, that's Tom Brady. I'm not worried about what Tom Brady's doing. I've got to worry about what Shannon Sharpe is doing. So Ezekiel Elliott says, I can't worry about what Tom. I can't worry about the discount this guy gave over here or he gave over there. I'm talking about me and my value to the team because I know this. In the 8 games that I've missed, you are a 500 team with me out of the lineup. That's fact.
You're missing the point.
That is the point.
If you're speaking for Zeke, I'm telling Zeke, you're missing the point. Jerry Jones, for the first time ever in his Friday media session that opened camp, spoke a little cold-bloodedly of Ezekiel Elliott. He just said he's a non-report. He just dismissed him. He's a non-report.
Yeah.
That's it. Period. You're going to find him, Jerry? The CBA allows me to find him, and we will consider that going forward.
Well, so why didn't he just go, yeah? He should have said, hell yeah. He's under contract. He's a no-show. Hell yeah, I'm going to find him. That's all he had to say.
What play about 4 different times during this media session did Jerry Jones refer to, please? Jenny was at this game. Jenny jinxed me at this game, but that's okay. I forgive her. I forgive her for this. It was right here in Los Angeles at the Coliseum, and it became 4th and 1 at the Rams' 35-yard line. First play of the 4th quarter. My coaches had the whole commercial break before the 4th quarter to figure out a play. And they're thinking,
He was
"Boy,
clapping.
I guess we better. He's saying,
Yeah, exactly.
He's clapping for Zeke,
Yeah.
right?
You're clapping.
And he's thinking, let's just give it to Zeke and let him make his own hole right up the middle, right?
Yep.
It's 23-15 Rams at this point, and my team is driving for what could be the tying touchdown, or at least to come within a point of the Rams.
Right.
And we got a ball game. And where does Zeke go on fourth down? He goes nowhere slowly. He goes for a 0. And in this game, just for the record, he went 20 carries for a grand total of 47 yards. The butter, what else did you call him? The driving
Engine.
The engine.
Yeah.
He goes 20 for 47, and that included one 15-yard game. So if we let's eliminate the 15 yards. He went 19 for 32. That's 1.7 yards per try in 19 tries. That's the engine, and it sputtered against the Rams.
Skip. But what happened is that I believe Wade Phillips says, I refuse to let you run the ball. If you look at If you look at the Super Bowl, they did an outstanding job on Tom Brady.
Thank you.
They were listen to me, Skip, because they were playing coverage. But what happened at the expense of that? You had Sonny Michel, and you had these guys going for almost 200 yards. So you have to give up something. I believe every defensive coordinator goes into the game, says, I want to stop 2-1. And if number 4 can throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and they win, I'll shake his hand at center field. But I don't believe that's how defensive coordinators think. They don't think that Dak Prescott is the guy.
Here's what Jerry Jones is thinking. He loves his quarterback. I love his quarterback. He knows that the better long-term bet is that quarterback,
Yes,
Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Dak Prescott has missed 0 games in his career. He's
Skip,
durable.
Skip. That's the thing.
Okay.
You know Zeke plays a more bad.
What happened against the Rams that night? The Rams ran wild on my defense.
Yeah.
I didn't see it
So why did you give
coming.
DeMarcus Lawrence that money?
Just remember, it was 36 minutes time of possession for the Rams to only 24 for my Cowboys. What did my quarterback do in only 24 minutes of time of possession?
Not much.
He went 20 of 32 for 266, a touchdown and no interceptions. He had a QBR of 84, and by the way, he led the playoffs with QBR. He had an 84 there to Jared Goff's 57. So he completely outplayed Jared Goff that night.
No, he didn't.
And Jerry Jones knows it.
Skip, but here's the thing. For a large chunk of that game, the Cowboys were behind by 2 touchdowns. So you keep telling me what Dak did his ultimate numbers, when they absolutely needed him the most, he was unable to provide answers.
So let's look at Tom Brady's Super Bowl versus Dak Prescott's playoff game here against the Rams and Wade Phillips defense on his home field.
Correct.
Right? So Dak has a QBR of 84. Tom had similar numbers, 21 of 35 for 262, but no touchdowns and 1 interception. Tom Brady had a QBR of 26. Dak had 84 to Tom Brady's 26. You don't think Jerry Jones is aware that against Wade Phillips' defense, that Dak put on a show? It was highly impressive. I told you that the Monday after that game. My quarterback played his tail off in that game.
Skip, I believe, knowing Wade Phillips like I do, and I've known Wade for 25 years, he approached this game differently. His job was like, look, I'm getting after Tom Brady. In the game against the Rams, he says, I'm stopping Ezekiel Elliott.
The Patriots have been running the ball like crazy all year long. They led the whole playoffs in rushing.
But you know what, Skip? I would rather the ball be in Sonny Michel's hand than Tom Brady's hand. And if he's handing it off to Burkhead, if he's handing it off to those running backs, what else does that mean? He's not throwing it to Gronk. He's not throwing it to Edelman. If you notice in the first half...
Well, you said Tom Brady was overrated.
Oh, my God.
Well, you have. You've made that case.
Can I finish my point?
Sure, try.
If you look at the first half, you look at what they were doing. Sonny Michel was not as effective in the first half as he was the second half, because then they said, look, we got to shut down Tom Brady. They started playing coverage. Well, you start playing coverages, you get that 8th guy at the box. Now Sonny Michel can run the ball. Now Burkhead can run the football. He went into that game and says, I refuse to let Zeke Elliott run the ball. And you know what, Dallas Cowboys? You know what, Skip Bayless? Jerry Jones, Jason Garrett? Your quarterback can't beat me. And they were absolutely
Well, he almost
correct.
did. And
I don't know about almost.
He would have if Jared Goff hadn't run for 19 yards on 3rd and 5.
The only place I've ever found almost is in the dictionary. I ain't finding when you play sports, almost isn't good enough.
That's good.
Well, that means they should cut Carson Wentz because he.
Oh, there you go.
Almost
There you
last
go.
year.
There you go.
Out
There you
of
go.
nowhere.
There you go.
Carson
Carson
Wentz.
Wentz ain't got nothing to do with this. We're going to talk about him a little
They
later.
came in second. They lost twice to Dak Prescott.
Carson Wentz got a Super Bowl ring.
He does?
He got a Super Bowl ring.
And he did what? To
No,
get,
no, 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 no,
Say
no, no, no.
wasn't,
He won 13 games.
yeah,
That's
did
what he do.
Take any snaps in those playoffs?
He did. You asked what did he do?
Nick Foles has a Super Bowl
he-
ring, and he plays for the Jaguars.
He secured home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Your guy did that his rookie year. And then what happened? Oh, Aaron Rodgers came in there and took it away.
Well, you tell me Aaron Rodgers is transcendent, the greatest thrower of the football ever.
Yep.
And it still came down to 2 cross-country field goals, right?
On your home court.
Luckiest field goals
No,
I've
but
ever
you
seen in my
remember
life.
that week leading up to it? You did all that talking how he went up to Lambeau Field and he
did.
outplayed Aaron Rodgers, and I can see this happening all over again.
And all he did was throw for 303 touchdowns. I don't know.
Hey.
Have a QBR of 80.
He ain't do better than A-Rod. A-Rod was doing it.
So speaking of QBRs, my quarterback has 18 QBRs in his 3 years over 80. No quarterback's got that. 18 over 80? That's
what have you
unbelievable.
dinking and dacking?
No quarterback has ever had a higher completion percentage in his first 3 years than Dak Prescott. In the last 3 years, Dak has led this league in game-winning drives. Jerry Jones knows where the bread is buttered.
Okay.
It's buttered with the quarterback.
So, Skip, why?
So right now, the priority is getting the quarterback done.
Okay.
And I'm here to predict in the next couple of weeks, certainly before camp ends, they will get the quarterback signed, and then they will try to figure out the running back. But the running back is going to have to be more realistic than Todd Gurley.
He's absolutely realistic. If I'm Zeke, if all Jerry got to do is say, the hell with Zeke. I'm not doing any contract. He's going to play under the number that he signed for, or he's not going to play at all. That's all he got to do. And let Zeke sit back and do the same thing Emmitt Smith. After the first 2 weeks, he'll be groveling. He'd be glad to give $10 million more than what Todd Gurley got.
Really? That will not happen.
Groveling.
Jerry is
begging
not stupid.
He going to be begging
Yeah,
Zeke to take his money.
You're begging because it's your only hope.
Well, what
you need
hope?
Jerry to wreck his whole cap for Ezekiel Elliott, and then you need Zeke at some point to just crumble and fade away.
No.
Like most running backs do.
No, but therein lies why he needs to get his money. Skip, he saw what they did to DeMarco Murray. They ran him into the ground, and they squeezed all the juice out the lemon. Well, nobody wants to eat the inside of, all the juice out of the orange, and then they threw it in the trash. No, Zeke said
How
no.
much juice was left in Todd Gurley's orange at the end of the year last year?
We're gonna see what happens this year.
Are we?
I bet he get over 1,200 rushing.
Arthritic knee.
Stop trying to put bad mouth on it. Even
I'm
more,
not putting bad. I'm just
Jenny,
reciting a fact.
Even more reason why Zeke should get his money, because he never know when them knees gonna go out on him. Give me that bread.
Well,
Pro
guys,
Football Focus, highly respected.
I don't care nothing about no
Pro
folks.
Football Focus ranked Zeke's year last year as the 8th best running back.
Oh, so now
Jerry knows.
Oh, I thought
Jerry
you
knows.
would have
So
a
hold
problem
on.
with that.
When Pro Football Focus ranked Zeke at 18th, you had a problem with that ranking. Now they rank Zeke at 8, and it's the gospel.
I'm just saying Jerry knows what the numbers say.
Okay.
What the numbers scream.
And Jerry also knows the number. It's been a quarter of a century since I held a Lombardi. Jerry knows that number
Knows
too.
that too. Guys, Tom Brady may not have a running back like Zeke, but he does have a birthday coming up. Is he better than ever? We'll discuss that next. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We're talking about Tom when we come back.
No mercy.
Tom Brady's quest to defend his Super Bowl title is underway. He's entering his 20th season and turns 42 on Saturday. But according to Tom, that 42-year-old body may somehow be getting younger. Brady talked to his former teammate Willie McGinnis about some new training techniques and the results he's seeing on the field. Take a listen.
We saw something, I don't know where it came from, but you did something about your throwing, the speed of your ball. It was like 61 miles an hour, and I think a 40 time. Did you run a 40 and you were faster? So is that something that you're so damn competitive? Is that something that you look back when you came out of the draft and was like, you know what, I'm going to show them 20 years later that I'm better than ever, and I'm still ready to go?
Yeah, because what's that allowed me to do is, compare. The data gives yourself a chance to compare yourself from year to year. And so, like, for example, how hard you throw it. I trained really hard this offseason. I think it worked because of the way I threw it. So I'm going to try to do the same thing next year because I proved to myself that the way that I was training was effective. You know, how far I throw the ball, the distance I need, because that's what I'm thinking about when I get out here. I got guys running 4.3 down the field. I got to throw it 60 yards. I got to throw it 65 yards if I take a hitch. So I need to prove to myself in the offseason I can make those, and I can throw it into tight windows. I'm going to have to throw it 60 miles an hour. So if I feel like I could do that, then I feel like I'm in a good place. So
was the 40-yard accurate? Was the 40 accurate? Were you faster?
There were some good times. I'm definitely faster than I used to be. So I know that the training's paying off, but I was never fast to begin with, and hopefully I don't have to run that much this year. I could just rely on this right arm. That would be my goal this year.
Ah, good old Tom. Shannon, do you believe everything Brady said? Everything in there.
No, Skip. Look, the saying or the phrase that I hate the most is that we hear it all the time from athletes. I'm in the best shape of my life. Even at 25, you hear the guy say 30, guy at 35, and here's Tom Brady about to be 42. Skip, just because Tom says it, that doesn't make it true. So let me get this right. Michael Jordan could jump as high as he could at 34 as he could at 24? No. LeBron James is in maximum peak condition, but he's not the same athlete at 34 that he was at 24. Look, I get it. Tom is trying to put himself in a frame of mind to be able to go out here and compete, because he knows it's more, for him, it's more mental than physical. But just because he says, I'm in the best shape of my life, oh, yeah, I ran a faster 40 time, even though we didn't see him run the 40. Oh, I'm throwing it as far, even though we didn't see him throw the football. Skip, I get all that. The thing that I'm most impressed with Tom Brady, and the resume is long, is that for me, Skip, it wasn't the training that drove me away. It was not the practice. It was not the game and the hits. It was the meetings. Because I had only heard this verbiage for 7 years. Red right, Y stick and two jet, flank or drive. I had heard it for 7 years. For Tom Brady to have heard this for 20 years, the exact same verbiage, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 plays year to year, is unbelievable. That is the thing that I'm most impressed with him. Yes, the 6 Super Bowls are impressive. That goes to show you just how great he is and the longevity and how well he's played. But Skip, to hear something over and over, man. But no, I do not believe Tom Brady can run as fast as he could. Like you said, even though he wasn't fast to begin with, Skip, you can't take a 55 Bel Air or 57 Bel Air and say, you know what, it's faster now than it was in 57. No, it's the same engine. Now, if you change the engine, if he doing something we don't know about, Skip? I don't think so. I believe Tom Brady is on the up and up. He's the same slow-footed guy that he was coming out, but he can throw the ball exceptional. And that's where, like you said, hopefully he doesn't have to rely on that 7.2 40 speed. He could just rely on his right arm, and I believe that's what he'll do. But I do not believe Tom Brady can throw it as hard, as far, and can run as fast. No, I do not.
I'm going to remind you one more time, this man is shattering the mold.
No, he ain't.
We have never seen anything in all of sports like Tom Brady. He is about to, next Saturday, happy birthday, Ernestine, because they share the same birthday. He is about to turn 42 years of age, and I absolutely believe he improved his throwing velocity over the offseason, because there are ways, that's a very specific thing that you can improve through the proper exercise, the proper training, and I believe Alex Guerrero is third level when it comes to this, that you can improve slightly your velocity and your 40 time at 42 if you know what you are doing. And I believe he knows what he is doing. And what got me was the line that he said, I'm going to try to do the same thing next offseason because this was so beneficial to me this offseason. So you keep saying, you keep pushing it back a year. This is his last year.
I said 20.
Last year.
20.
He's giving no indication that he's even remotely thinking about this being his final year. He's already excited about next offseason. He also made a point that we didn't see, it came just before that answer, that the older you get, the harder you obviously have to work in the off season, to the point you cannot take an off season off the way you can when you're a kid.
No.
You don't rest. You work harder because you can't let your body stop. Because if you let it stop as you approach 40, as you know, it will just stop. It's what I used to say about running marathons. I ran 9 of them. I never walked a single step in a marathon. You can't walk.
Stop.
You
Once you
can't
stop,
your body will just scream at you. What are you doing to me? But if the endorphins just keep kicking, then maybe you can trick yourself into 26.2 miles. In Tom's case, he has to keep tricking his body into go forward, get better and better. And he said he took his shoulder pads on vacation with his wife and kids, and he would work out every day in his pads just to keep his body
Get used to throwing
comfortable.
with pads.
Yeah, with pads on. Well, this is the next level. Right. He's showing you, he's resetting a bar, and it's not the Todd Gurley bar. It's not a fake bar. It's a real bar because he's backing up the bar by throwing it a little bit harder every year. I thought he threw the heck out of it last year. Again, he is the most effortless thrower of the football I've seen since Joe Montana, because it doesn't look like he's throwing it that hard, but do the results show you that it's getting there quickly? Yes.
Skip, I just think that at a certain point, I think Tom Brady understands the game better. I don't think Tom Brady physically has gotten any better. I think what he can do is read and recognize what defenses are trying to do to him. He has a better understanding of that. He processes, and he sped that process up. But at a certain point, Skip, the body, like you said, father time. When people look at me, they're like, man, you're still in great shape. I say, you know what? I'm just a 51-year-old with muscles. I'm not in as good a shape. They'd be like, you're in better shape. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No one's in better. No, you don't get in my 20s and 30s. The problem that I have, and I think Tom has learned through trial and error, is that, Skip, when you get older, you don't work harder, you work smarter, because you can't do the volume. And that's what the hardest thing for get through my thick skull is, that I was trying to do things at 32, 33, Skip, that I was doing at 24, 25. And I wonder why I kept pulling hamstrings, kept tweaking my groin. That volume. So I went to a guy and said, Shannon, that volume at your age, we got to train. We can keep that same intensity, but let's back off the volume. Tom Brady, I believe Tom has gotten smarter. Well, Tom was probably never a volume guy where he was running, 400-meter sprints and 100-meter sprints, because he doesn't need that, Skip. It's just from point A to point B, going through bag stuff, going through cones, things of that nature. I believe Tom is training smarter because he has a better understanding, a better grasp. Because when you first start out, Skip, you have to trial and error. You have to go through a lot of things. Okay, this worked, but this didn't. So I'll do more of this, and I'll do none of that. Okay. And so over the years, I think as time has progressed, he understands exactly what he needs to do physically, exactly what he needs to eat nutrition-wise, and the therapy in which Dr. Guerrero or whomever else works on him. I think he's fine-tuned that. So that's where we are now.
Okay, we're talking about a specific skill of throwing a football. Let's take Tiger Woods. We just saw him win the Masters. I still can't get it through my head. He just won the Masters. He's 43 years of age. His club head speed is the highest of his whole career. How is that? Well, it's a specific skill that he's learned to work on, and you can go in the gym, and I think he's learned a tough gym lesson. You don't need pecs and biceps. You need speed. So there are certain things you can do to again, to fight against
the rotation.
Right.
Well, he learned
to increase your speed.
Well, Tiger had to learn the hard way, like me. He was still trying to do the volume. As he progressed, Skip, and guess what started happening?
Okay.
Achilles, hamstring, back, and so now he's learning smart. But Skip, the thing is with the club head, that was for that tournament. Look at his club head speed at the PGA. Look at his club head speed at the British Open.
Nobody's got a back problem, and he just wears out.
He had that back problem at the Masters.
No,
so
he didn't. But his club head speed was the highest of his career.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay. For him, the thing that you have to give about Tom, Tom has to have that kind of that hip rotation, which generates the arm to launch the ball down the field. He has to do that over 16 games and then come playoff. not just one game. That's why it's so impressive. But I just believe his anticipation
Look
is
at
better.
Phil Mickelson, never known for his fitness.
Yes.
He is in the best shape of his life at age 49.
Well, Skip, he weighed 300 pounds at 25, so he should be in the best shape of his life.
I got it. I don't think he weighed 300
Okay,
pounds,
265.
but okay. He is hitting the ball farther than he ever has in his life, and he was always long, and he's 49 years of age.
Okay.
Why is that? Isometrics, where you continue to push against the side, where you're making your left side strong, and his right side.
But what did he do?
Well,
He don't have this in front of him anymore.
Well,
He's brought that into here. So it's a lot easier to do this when you don't have that out there in front of you.
Okay, and I also think it's very special that Tom Brady will not give up his 40-yard dash. That ugly, all-time ugliest 40 that he ran at the Combine has driven him for the last 20 years.
Right.
And he is self-deprecating about it. He will make fun of himself.
But it's an embarrassing moment because they show it all the time.
Okay, but he'll make the silly little videos.
Right.
If we could show that one that he posts on Instagram, you know, of
The
him.
speed?
Yeah, the speed
I
video.
love this one.
3, 2, 1.
I mean, just it's.
Okay. So he
That's
makes
smart
himself
training, Shannon.
he makes himself a
smart
superhero in a video. But the reality of that is, behind the scenes, he is actually
motivating.
working with Guerrero to improve his. What was his for? I forget what it was.
6 something, Skip.
Was it 6?
It might have been high fives?
I don't know, but
Maybe
whatever it
high
is, he didn't have much to have to top. But I believe he's slightly faster, and I believe that really matters to him as much as the arm velocity.
Skip, for me, I don't know if it was so much how slow he ran or how he looked running it. I think that was the thing that made him, because he looked like a newborn giraffe. It was like his arms were flailing, his legs were going all over the place. If he run that same time and he had looked athletic doing it, I think people were like, well, okay, he's just slow. But the way he looked in running it, that's what like, huh? And you mean to tell me you played quarterback at Michigan and you look like that? But it just goes to show you looks and how fast somebody runs has nothing to do with whether or not you can play a specific sport.
What do you think what play last year would Tom Brady be proudest of? Of all the plays that he pulled off against Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and on, I believe it was the play against Patrick Mahomes' defense when it was 5:25 left in the fourth quarter of the game in Foxborough. Remember what happened?
Would he scramble for the
We see that? Yeah, he scrambled for a touchdown. This is Tom Brady, and this is why he says, I'm going to work to improve my 40 speed. At least he had a little bit of a burst, a tiny bit of a burst. Not all that impressive to Shannon Sharpe, but to Tom Brady, that's impressive because that turned out to be the winning touchdown. That put them up 37-33.
Right.
And he did that. So I promise you, his favorite highlight of the year, after all the throws that he made, and he beat Patrick Mahomes twice that year, and he had the all-time clutch performance in the history of the AFC Championship game in overtime, 3 straight 3rd and 10s he converted, and he beat Aaron Rodgers, he beat Andrew Luck, he beat Deshaun and Kirk Cousins, on and on, but that would be the play he would gravitate to and say, look what I did, and I'm going to improve that quickness a little bit and that speed.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, he can always throw the football, but I think the thing is that he works on his weaknesses, and he understands that scrambling and moving around in the pocket because he would really prefer to isolate in that phone booth. Skip, it left to his devices, he would stay right there in that box. I don't need to get outside, left or right. I don't need to run or do anything like this. I can do all my damage right here. But for him to be able to, like you said, to move out of the pocket and scramble and it was only 4 or 5 yards, but like you said, it was the defining moments, and he's prided himself on being. Tom Brady, if you really look at it, Tom Brady is the moments in which Tom Brady has come up the best. He doesn't know, he overthrow and he has an interception, but have we ever seen a guy in moments when his back is absolutely against the wall? One missed throw and it's over. And somehow he's found a way over the course of 19 years, now he's going into his 20th season, to always come up big. Very few guys can say that. So kudos to him for finding a way, extra ways to motivate himself. But I still don't believe he's faster or can throw as far.
Just for the record, it was 5.28, that 40. So I think you said 6.
Yeah.
You were
It looked 6.
It was the
I agree.
You're right.
But Skip, but people don't realize how slow 5 seconds is at a 40 because you got big linemen wearing 330 running 4.9s and running 5 in Tom.
Hey.
But he didn't, look, he had on some big old heavy shoes. You see guys now getting very specific. He didn't go train for no 40.
Yeah,
I don't even know what guys would he, I don't know why.
They go to Arizona or LA to train to run a 40-yard dash.
Right.
Quarterbacks
to do everything.
Yeah.
And then they take the test. I'm like, how can you fail a test, something you've been taking for the last 8 weeks?
But it's like what you said, Skip, that 5.28 seconds motivated him for 20
years.
plus
Yeah.
years.
Yep.
So
Here we go.
Did something.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here to tell you a bit more about 23andMe. Sure, DNA testing can tell you about where your ancestors are from, but did you know it could also give you a lot of genetic information about your health and traits? Understand more about yourself today and inform how you live your life going forward. 23andMe tracks many conditions such as harmful blood clots. Some F2, F5 genes help you stop bleeding if you get hurt, while other versions of these genes can also increase the risk for harmful blood clots. 23andMe also tracks hereditary breast and ovarian cancer. There are thousands of BRCA variations that can increase the risk for certain cancers. Both men and women can be affected. 23andMe reports do not diagnose disease or describe overall likelihood of developing any disease. 23andMe tests selected genetic variants only. Visit 23andme.com/undisputed for important test information. Order your health and ancestry kit at 23andme.com/undisputed, and you can meet your genes in 125 personalized genetic reports. That's the number 23andme.com/undisputed. 23andme.com/undisputed.
No mercy.
Next up, NFL Network is currently releasing their top 100 player rankings heading into the season, and they are all in on the Baker Mayfield hype. Baker was ranked as the 50th best player in the league as he heads into his sophomore campaign. He's ranked higher than a lot of big-name quarterbacks, including Shannon's guy, Wentz, Deshaun Watson, and a pair of former MVPs in Cam Newton and Matt Ryan. The list is voted on by other players. So, Shannon, should Baker be ranked ahead of those other guys?
No. Skip, for me, if you want to say rank him ahead of Cam and Carson Wentz, I got no problem with that because both of those guys were nicked up.
Okay.
Both of those guys got hurt. They didn't finish the season. I got no problem with that. This is not a Lifetime Achievement Award. So it's not based on what you've done in the past. Cam was an MVP. He was Rookie of the Year. I get all that. But Cam Newton last year was injured. And so for me, put Baker in front of him, got no problem with that. Carson Wentz, this is not his second year. This was his third year. And his second year, he was unbelievable. He was third in the player vote, the top 100. I think he was third in the top 100. I got no problem with that. But this was for 2018. He was injured. I got no problem with Baker Mayfield being ranked in front of Cam or Carson Wentz. Now, I got to push back when you talk about ranking him in front of Matt Ryan. Skip, Matt Ryan was 76 yards for passing for 5,000. He actually passed for 20 yards fewer and had 3 fewer touchdowns than when he won the MVP. Matt Ryan was 49-24, 35-7. And they got Baker Mayfield ranked 19 spots in front of him. Deshaun Watson was 1 spot behind him. He was 41-65, 26-9. Baker was 37-25, 27-14. Baker's it right now.
Sure.
He's hot.
Yeah.
Hot as fish grease, Skip. And maybe they're trying to project moving forward what Baker's going to be. But based on 2018, he should not have been ranked in front of Matt Ryan. He should not have been ranked in front of Deshaun Watson. Look, for me, the guys vote how they vote. But I would not have voted Baker Mayfield in front of Matt Ryan, Baker Mayfield in front of Deshaun Watson. Would I have put him in front of Carson Wentz and Cam Newton? Yes, because last year I believe they were injured and they did not play up to the levels they are capable of playing at, and Baker had a better year statistically, and so I would have put Baker in front of those two. But in front of Matt Ryan, in front of Deshaun Watson, absolutely not.
So, just for the record, I always tell you I believe all the quarterbacks should be ranked a lot higher on this list than they are. And this list is voted upon by players. Yet I do agree with this order, and I'll tell you why. I base my evaluation of Baker Mayfield on two things. Number one is arm strength, and number two is leadership intangibles. If we just talk about arm strength, and that includes quickness of release, because Baker has a quick trigger, man. But look at what the Madden people evaluated Baker's what they call throwing power. They put him 6th on their list of, let's just call it arm strength. 6th. Guess what? Cam was 7th, so he was one notch behind Baker. And Deshaun was 23rd. By the way, Carson Wentz was 15th, but he ranked low in the survey. And then Matt Ryan brought up the rear in throwing power. He was 31st on that list. So he's a soft arm thrower.
Right.
Who throws for a lot of yards. He's had Julio. He's had a great core of receivers.
Tony Gonzalez,
Okay. But when we get to leadership intangibles, I'll take Baker any Sunday or Sunday night or Monday night over Matt Ryan. And I love Matt. Had him on shows. He's a fine guy. You know him.
Yes.
He's a really good guy.
He is. He's a great guy.
But I don't consider Matt Ryan a born leader. Baker Mayfield was born to lead. Maybe he was born to lead kind of an outlawish team, but that's what he's made up of. His fire, his guts, his courage, just everything, it just oozes out of him, and it gets to be contagious. As Jenny knows from covering all the Oklahoma games, he took over that program, just the way he's taken over the Browns franchise. They want to follow Baker into battle because they know this guy fears nobody, no way, no how. So when it's push comes to shove, Baker's going to trash talk in the peak moments of the game, and he's going to back it up.
Yeah.
So he's got the arm strength, and he has the intangibles that equal Brett Favre's. But here's the difference. He's got a lot of Favre's fire in him, but Brett Favre was never that close to any of his teammates. Baker wants to party with everybody. Doesn't matter what color you are. Look at Odell. He loves to hang out with Baker. That's one of his favorite people.
Brett partied on his own because he
by
figured
himself.
He figured too many of you guys would draw attention to it, so I could hang out in Buckhead by myself, and not,
you know what?
anyone would know.
True. but did Favre hang with a bunch of teams ever?
You know what I think? Maybe once he got to Green Bay, Skip, I think he was close to some of the linemen.
Maybe.
Baker, I'm sure he's close to the linemen, but Baker is a guy that's going to gravitate more towards the wide receiver and the running backs because they have the personality, the persona that he most exhibits.
All right. And a lot of those are black guys,
Yes.
so you got a connection.
But he got that
that
swag.
runs
You
deep.
see him dancing.
He's
He got
that
swag.
and he can dance.
Yes.
And he can party.
Yes.
Maybe that's not always the best thing, but that's who he is and why he drives this franchise. So then I look at the rest of the guys on the list. Remember, he's only one slot ahead of Deshaun.
Right.
I love Deshaun. I still believe in Deshaun. I believe
Deshaun's a
Deshaun.
leader, Skip.
He is a leader. Different. He's more of a. He's a quiet leader. He's not an outward emotional leader, Deshaun, but he led against Alabama twice in those championship games. He led that whole Clemson program, so I don't discount that at all. But would I give Baker just a tiny slight edge? Yeah, I'll give it a slight edge, but it's only 51st to 50th.
Skip, but I can't. Matt Ryan is 69th. He had 1,200 more yards, 8 more touchdowns, and 7 fewer interceptions.
And the team did what?
The same as Baker's, missed the playoffs.
Okay. But was the team projected to miss the playoffs? No, they've just been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And what happened to Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl? He had a great first half and a not-so-great second half,
But
right?
I thought we weren't doing that. I thought we had a Lifetime Achievement Award because the previous year he was ranked, I think, top 10. But for me, Skip, like I said, this is not a Lifetime Achievement Award. And if I were to be voting, I'm looking at what did you do in 2018?
Who would Shannon Sharpe rather play with and for? Matt Ryan, Baker Mayfield?
Oh, my God, Skip.
I think it's Baker. Listen,
I do too.
If you be around him.
Matt Ryan.
No.
Old Matty
Ice.
Yeah.
Yep, because he was your neighbor.
You're just saying that because we want you to say Baker.
Yeah.
Skip, come on, Skip. 5,000. The man basically put up the exact same numbers that he won the MVP with.
Okay.
Skip, you know their defense was riddled with injuries. We don't look, and that's the thing. When the quarterback wins, he gets all the credit. When they lose, they get all the blame, no matter what happens on the defensive side of the football. Tom Brady's getting a bunch of credit for the Super Bowl, and he was on the team that won. But to diminish what that defense was able to do to the number 2 scoring offense in all of football would be disingenuous, Skip.
Okay, is Matt Ryan made of that stuff, that it guy stuff?
I don't know whatever
Nope.
it is, but it should not be 69th.
Yeah. But this was voted on by other players, we have to
Yes,
remember. So
yes.
maybe they're not looking at the numbers the same way you are examining the season he had. I mean, Baker has all the hype.
Yeah,
The potential.
he hot right now.
So here's what's phenomenal about Baker's rise. Do you remember early last football season when I used to come in here and bang this table?
I do.
What is Hugh Jackson doing to Baker Mayfield? It started during Hard Knocks.
yeah.
Remember the classic scene? He calls him in and says, I want to inform you, I'm paraphrasing, but I want to inform you, Baker, you just won the backup quarterback over Drew Stanton. Remember, they're both sitting in Hugh's office.
Well done.
We had Hugh on.
Hugh
He
admitted
said-
that was a mistake,
Yeah,
Skip.
He
said
did,
it's
he
a
did.
mistake.
It was a mistake.
Glad he
Okay,
admitted that.
but still, then he has to start Tyrod just because Tyrod was his guy. And what I keep telling you, no, this is the guy. You let him go. Remember, I told you they'll make the playoffs if they let Baker start from the start.
Well, they
And
could
I
have made the
believe they
playoff
would
if
have.
their kicker wouldn't shanked all them balls, Skip. They had Pittsburgh on the ropes. They had
Yep.
New Orleans on the ropes. They had the Raiders.
Well,
I
maybe
think
if
and they might
Baker's
have
the
beat the
quarterback,
Raiders.
maybe he doesn't shank those balls. Maybe he just wills them in. because
Oh,
he
my goodness. So,
Well,
you know what, Skip? You ought
You
to
know,
be ashamed of
a
yourself.
quarterback can lift a whole franchise where everyone
Well-
starts to believe.
Yeah, I know. That's what happened
Right.
with Mason Crosby. Oh, Aaron Rodgers lifted tide, and that's why he kicked those cross-country field goals that you talking about.
That's a long time
That
ago.
wasn't a long time
but-
ago. That was just a couple of months ago.
But it's true. I think he lifted the whole boat up
Yeah.
against the rising tide, and Mason Crosby went right along with him.
Like I said, you want to put him in front of Cam and Carson Wentz because they missed time. They were injured last year. I got no problem. But I'm going to have to give some resistance to Matt Ryan's 69th. Matt Ryan's the 69th best player in the football. Man, that's ridiculous.
Well, the truth is you could take all these quarterbacks and they all should be in the top 20 of the ranking.
Right.
Because it's quarterback.
Yeah. Okay.
But if,
Yeah.
if you're doing that, then Baker's a top 10 quarterback.
And then you look at it, but Skip, but when you look at the guys that's in front of Matt Ryan, really? So are the guys that's in front of Matt Ryan, you would take them to start your franchise over Matt Ryan?
I would not.
And no, nobody would.
Nobody would. That is
Oh,
the truth.
The expectations in Cleveland. I just can't wait to see how this one plays out. We got to talk about Ezekiel Elliott. Will he actually sit out games
Sit it down,
this
Zeke.
season? We'll discuss all of the latest next.
No mercy.
Ezekiel Elliott is still a no-show at Cowboys training camp. Jerry Jones said on Friday that the team has the option to find Zeke, but there's no word yet if they'll actually do so. Dak Prescott was asked about Zeke's absence and said, quote, "We know wherever he is, he's doing things the right way. He's probably running the same drills. We're not worried. He is a professional." Shannon, can you see Zeke actually missing regular season games?
Well, I think when you take this approach, Skip, I think you have to be willing to go the distance. You don't start a race if you're not going to be willing to finish the race. But before I go any further, Skip, you see the difference between the way the Dallas Cowboys and their players are handling Zeke's holdout as opposed to Pittsburgh Steelers and how they handle Le'Veon Bell's holdout? Where one team was bashing the guy for trying to get his money, and the other team is like, hey, we know he's putting that work in, so when he comes back, he's going to be ready to go.
This team loves Ezekiel Elliott.
Exactly.
That's a really good point.
It just goes to show you the difference between the two. I just wanted to iterate that. Skip, for me, is that Zeke understands the only leverage a player has is his ability to hold out. Whether people agree or disagree with it, that's his only leverage, is to withhold his services. Just like teams can withhold their paycheck, or they can release you or move on in a different direction. Zeke says, think about how many touches I put on my body in the first 3 years of my NFL career, Skip. He's led the league in carries 2 of the 3 years, and he's missed games in those years, Skip. He played 15 his rookie year because they had everything sold up. He missed a game last year. They had everything sold up. And he still led the league in carries. Now factor this in. Whether it's their ability, whether they believe that Zeke has gotten better at catching the football or Zeke's worked on his hands, whatever the case may be, now they're throwing him 70-plus passes a season. So he's getting 310. I believe if he starts the season, that number will be at least 310, probably in the 350-ish. Plus you tack on 50, 60, maybe even 70, 80 ball, Skip, you're getting to that danger zone, which is 400-plus touches. And Zeke understands. Skip, you can't, this is not the world you want to live in if you're a running back. This is why a lot of teams have two guys, because they know with the kind of pounding that a running back takes in today's game, he can't last like, look, a guy, how Emmett was able to play 15 years, Skip, because he led the league in carries, whether or not he had a big offensive line or not. They were still landing on him. They were still hitting that. They didn't get clean shots. Emmett didn't run the contact like Zeke did, Zeke does. Emmett was slippery sliding, and by the time you realize it, he got 5-10 yards, he was down, he was taking glancing blows. Zeke understands that his style of running is not conducive for a 10, 12, Emmitt Smith, 15-year Marcus Allen type career. So he understands I need to get my money now because they're going to put even more and more on my plate as this thing progresses, Skip. I have no problem with what he's doing, and he understands if you take this approach, you got to be willing to miss games, because if you don't miss games, what have you actually accomplished? You just had an extra what, month, 6 weeks of off-season vacation as opposed to coming to camp. You've accomplished absolutely nothing.
Okay. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you this again. Emmitt Smith avoided contact better than any running back I ever watched. Yeah, ever. He had what Norv Turner, then the offensive coordinator, called the greatest quickness in a confined space Norv has ever seen.
Right.
I'm sure Norv would say that to this day.
Yes.
That means duck and dart behind those elephant offensive linemen, and you couldn't get
You ain't hitting flush.
shot.
You're hitting him
No.
flush now.
That's why he endured.
Right.
Zeke is the polar opposite of that. And I have sympathy for Ezekiel Elliott because arguably this is going to be his last contract.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If it's 4 years, could that not be about the closing window?
Especially big dollar contract.
Okay.
Now, he might be playing on a minimum contract.
Maybe. God bless him. I'm knocking on wood for him. But the point is, this is huge for him, just as it was huge for Emmitt back in 1993.
Correct.
I was there, covered that team. I was right in the middle of all that because I'd written a book off the 92 Cowboys. So what's the big difference between now and then? Jerry Jones, as a still new fastest gun in the West owner of the Dallas Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson as head coach, had just broken through at least 1 year early and won the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Jerry was feeling himself. He was full of himself, and sometimes he was full of you-know-what, right? And as they hit 1993, he was willing to dig in against an Emmitt who he loved. They were very close, just as Zeke and Jerry are very close.
I don't know if he was close. He might be closer to Zeke, Skip.
He probably. Now he's gotten closer to Emmitt, but they kind of went to quote-unquote war.
They did,
one, and it got a little personal. But the difference between Zeke and Emmitt is Zeke loves being around the fellas. Zeke loves to practice. He does. He loves to play football. He loves to compete. He loves to win football games. Emmitt just kind of did what he did. It kind of came fairly naturally. He wasn't a workout warrior. I think Zeke is a workout warrior.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he went to Cabo over the 6-game stretch and came back?
Yeah.
Did he not look sleek and fit?
Yeah, he did, because I remember when he showed up to camp, he didn't look sleek
He
and
did
fit.
not
Giving
look
him-
sleek
called him
and
out
fit,
on that.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so is it possible that he's now in Frisco, Texas, where he lives, just working out, getting ready? Do you think he's starting to miss the fact that he reads on the internet, whatever, he sees the video on whatever,
Yeah.
he sees, oh, they're all out there. I'm missing that right now, and I don't have to miss it. Back in 2017, he was forced out for 6 games.
Right.
Now he's not forced out, but these camp days, if you're holding out, they start to drag on, and they get longer and longer, and you start to get itchier and itchier because you love football.
You do.
And you know that your life expectancy is pretty short, so while you want your big contract, potentially your last big one, you also want to be with the guys out there in Oxnard.
You do.
Because it's fun out there.
It is, especially, Skip. I remember in '92, I was holding out because I signed, I was a 7th round pick, so I only signed a 2-year deal. And I remember my agent called him and said, "Oh, I probably would have showed up early, but the Olympics was going on. I wanted to catch the last little bit of the Olympics." But anyway, and he said, "Well, Shannon, I think if we hold out another 2 or 3 days, I think we can get an extra $50,000 was a lot of money back in 1992, Skip.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so what are they offering? He said 225. I hung the phone up. Skip, I drove to camp the next morning and went to practice. And Dan Reeves asked me, he said, Shannon, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm ready to practice. He said, but you hadn't signed the contract. That's how anxious I was to get back into it. I had already missed, Skip, but Skip, it didn't.
You wanted to be there that bad.
Skip, it didn't dawn on me until I got older that at any given time my career could have been. Skip, you know what, Skip, when you're young, you don't think anything can happen to you. There's a reason why young guys join the military, because they're not going to be the ones, Skip, anything bad going to happen to. Nobody thinks when you're young, I'm going to live forever. I'm going to play in the NFL as long as I want to. I'm going to have me a career like Tom Brady. You think every receiver that's playing think they're going to play as long as Tom Brady. Every quarterback, every offense, defensive lineman.
Or Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
He's still going.
Yeah, everybody thinks they're going to have that. So you don't really think about it, Skip. It's not until you start to get older you start to realize, like, man, I left some money on the table. I was very, very foolish. And then maybe if I was a running back, Skip, I would have thought differently.
Interesting.
But to know now the pounding that the running backs take and how you have getting up in the morning. Zeke's, 24 years of age? I guarantee you Zeke's body's achy during the season getting up out of bed, Skip. Wow. 24, 25 carries. No, them holes ain't like you playing college football where they're wide open. Nah, guys hitting you as soon as you get the ball. Skip, he got to get his money. He knows he's never going to get he's never getting another payday like this one.
Okay, so I fixated on something that came out of the mouth of Jason Witten the other day.
Oh, yeah.
This is on Friday, and I got to read this short quote because he summed it up for me, and I agree with the sentiment that he expressed. My experience has been those things, meaning a contract squabble, around here anyway, those things usually work out.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is good at getting those things done. So to me, I do not believe that Zeke will miss real games. I believe it will get done. At first you were predicting maybe he'd come in the week before.
Monday before, yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And I would be just fine with that. Now, if you told me he would actually miss the first 2 real games and he would come back and be the regular season MVP and the Super Bowl MVP, which is what happened to Emmitt Smith, I'll take that outcome now.
I bet you would.
Yes, I would.
But let me ask you a question. Do you believe he's going to get his money?
I believe he'll get at Todd Gurley money. He will not get way beyond Todd
Okay,
Gurley.
well, give me $1 more. I'll take $1 more, because that used to be the going sentiment, Skip. A wide receiver signed, and then Jerry was signed, and my brother said, I need to make $1 more than Jerry. Really? And then Michael Irvin said, I need to make $1 more than Sterling Sharpe. And the next guy.
Okay, but remember, they're trying to reset the bar.
Yeah.
I don't know what they want, but maybe they want 50 guaranteed, and they want, up to...
Man, they ain't getting no running back, no $50 million guarantee.
Well, that's what they're asking for.
Nah, 30. He might get 30 fully guaranteed.
I don't know. Didn't Todd get 45?
They're way more than
Todd
30.
Gurley? Yeah.
Skip, when I say fully guaranteed, I ain't talking about no roster bonus because they can cut you before the start of the league year, March 1st or March 9th, and you don't get that. I'm talking about when I signed my name, Jenny, they cut me, they don't really cut the check, but they direct deposit $30 million.
Okay, just remember, Todd Gurley got 45 guaranteed, and Le'Veon then got 31.9 guaranteed. So he got way less guaranteed, right?
But see, the thing is, Skip, here's the thing. When you see a guy says, okay, he signs a 4-year extension, he gets 4 years plus the 2 years left on that contract. So whatever the 2 years left plus what he got. So if Zeke signs for, let's just say he gets a 3-year extension for $55 million with $40 million guaranteed. Well, he still has 2 years left at $13 million. So in other words, it's about to be a 6-year deal or a 5 or 6 year deal for $65, $66 million. They just don't wipe away those last 2 years on the contract and give you 3 more years. They add on. So Zeke is like, okay, look, whatever. All I need to know is that how much money am I going to fully get? I'm not talking about no roster bonus because y'all, I know how y'all operate. Y'all have messed around and cut me before the league New Year start, and I ain't on the roster. So no, I ain't doing that. I want money in my so give me, you know what, Skip? How much Le'Veon get?
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed, 31.9.
31.9.
And Todd got how much?
45.
Well, get to he said, I want $45 million and $1.
And you think that's going to be something they can pull off?
$45 million,
$1,
$1, Jerry, and I'm there. You got that?
Ballpark, but not that high.
Just match it. That's all you can do because it's completely
I
out
need
of
$1 more.
bounds already.
I need $1 more,
Okay?
Skip.
And just remember, the way Zeke is made up psychologically, he's much more likely to, quote-unquote, cave in earlier than Emmett was, because Emmett did not like to practice, he did not like to work out hard, and he had already won a Super Bowl ring the year before.
Right.
So you already have that
And
established.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Emmett had led the league in rushing that year.
I believe he did.
So
Okay.
Zeke's like, whoa, wait a minute, Jerry. I'm 2 for 3. It would have been 3 for 3. I need you to break bread because you're telling me, you can't really trust me. But you hadn't cut me, and I'm still acting a fool. So you can trust me on a little bit of money, but you can't trust me with a lot of bit of money. I need mine, Jerry. I need to go in and break bread.
It's interesting what you said, though, about how his teammates are handling the situation. But I do want to point out this is so early on. And it felt like with the Steelers, it was as it continued
No, it was early on.
It was that quick?
Yeah.
I feel like it
'Cause
just
remember,
got bad.
we had the conversation about Ramon Foster, and they were just going to camp.
It's a different
They
kind of
turned on
respect
him. Quick.
that we're
Yep.
seeing from his teammates, which I
Zeke,
think
get
is
that money.
interesting to point out.
Stacey, don't let him go. Don't let him go. Don't let him go to camp, Stacey.
Saying it. All right, guys.
Mama Zeke, don't let him do it.
LeBron has been busy filming Space Jam 2. I know Shannon's all over it. But why is he taking over his son's games? This is interesting.
Put your hands
and
down.
We'll tell you about it now.
You know what he's doing.
No mercy.
Summertime is here, and while you may be breaking out that baseball cap for a day at the beach or the ballpark, if you're wearing it to hide thinning hair, you may not have to anymore. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. No waiting room, no awkward in-person doctor visits. Save hours by going to 4hims.com. And products are shipped directly to your door. Order now. Undisputed listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last. See website for full details and safety information. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or pharmacy. Go to 4hims.com/undisputed. That's FORHIMS.com/undisputed. 4hims.com/undisputed.
No mercy.
Space Jam 2 star LeBron James took a break from the movie set this weekend to catch his son Bronny's AAU game in Vegas. But he decided to be a little more than a casual spectator. LeBron seems to be really eager to get back on the court as he joined his son's team in the layup line and proceeded to throw down a huge dunk off the glass in front of all the kids. So, Skip, what do you make of all this? How about that video?
Start rolling your eyes, too.
Ooh, your face says it all.
Shannon. This was just pathetic. This was so embarrassing to LeBron James and especially to his son, Bronny. And I have no idea how you're going to defend this, but I'm certainly going to give you the opportunity, counselor. I want you to think about what just happened. LeBron James joined a bunch of 8th and 9th graders in a layup line, and he dunked.
Head on the rim, too.
He didn't make it, to your point, didn't make it a funny ha-ha thing where he just shot a little right-handed layup off the glass like the kids have to shoot right now. Bronny can get up occasionally and slam it, but mostly they're just laying it up off the glass. No, he took it dead seriously. He leaped with all of his might, and he thunder dunked it. This was every last ounce LeBron has at age 34 entering his 17th year.
That was 75% right there.
Oh, was it? It
75.
looked like 105% to me. And the upshot was that he upstaged his poor kid. I don't know what he was thinking. But number one, I do believe that LeBron, at his advanced age, is feeling and fighting his basketball mortality. And so every once in a while, it does him good just to get out there with the kids and kind of act like a kid. Like that's what he wanted to do when he was a kid. I'll go there and I can dunk it. But deeper than that, I want everybody to understand that LeBron has become so attention-starved.
Stop it.
Because there's a new sheriff in
No, it
town
ain't.
here
No,
in
it
Los
ain't.
Angeles,
No.
and his name is number 2.
No,
And
it ain't.
several of the NBA insiders reported that LeBron was convinced that they were going to get number 2 on the Lakers. And I'm not sure that LeBron had any direct contact with number 2, but he just was under the assumption that number 2 was going to join forces with him and Anthony Davis.
Right.
So the upshot of that was he got bamboozled by number 2 too. And now all the attention in Los Angeles, California is focused on the Clippers. The stepchildren, the Clippers are in the spotlight because the Clippers are now the NBA favorite going into next year. So all of a sudden, LeBron is thinking, I gotta show off. I gotta post Taco Tuesday, videos.
Hey, Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. That's all you got, LeBron, is Taco
I
Tuesday?
love Taco Tuesday.
Okay, but again,
seeing it.
that's what you have to do
No.
because that's all you can do for attention right now because you are at an attention deficit. Okay, but just think about what he's going through because all the focus is on Doc and Jerry West and number 2 and Paul George. And now he's got to reach all the way down to, I'm going to go dunk in the layup line with my kid because I know that'll go viral, right? Well, it goes viral because it's so shocking and so out of place and so sad. But right now, at this moment, that's all he's got.
Skip, I wish I could disagree with you,
Oh, really? You've seen
What?
light.
but I can't.
No way.
Wow. I'm
Skip,
shocked.
I am too.
Skip, when Junior does something, he dunks the ball, he steals the ball, he makes a play, LeBron gets excited. I got no problem with that. I love seeing parents engaged in their kids' activities and they showing excitement. Not cursing, not yelling and screaming, but showing genuine enthusiasm. I wish he wouldn't do this. If he wanted to shoot a shot, if the ball bounced to him and he's standing on the side,
Okay,
and he
I'm
wanted
good.
to shoot a shot,
Yep.
I got no problem with that. But to do this, I think it's a bit much. And the question I was talking to my homeboy, I said, man, let's just say for the sake of argument, the Melo ball. And then LeVar started doing this.
Oh boy.
We go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And then I'm sure the kids love it. Like, man, they'll be able to tell their kids when I was playing AAU ball as an 8th and 9th grader, LeBron James was in my line, in our layup line, and he was dunking left and right. But I just don't know what's the upside for him. We know he loves the game. We know there have been very few players of his caliber that love the game of basketball any more than LeBron James. But I just wish at this moment, this is Junior's time. This is his teammates' time to shine. And I know he doesn't mean anything. He's just having a great time. But they're not talking about Junior. They're talking about LeBron. Man, you see LeBron James in the layup line? I just can't wrap my mind around other than, I know you love the game, but what does he get out of this? I wish
Just tension.
I just wish he wouldn't do it. Skip, he's LeBron James. He got 50 million IG followers. He got another 30, 40 million on Twitter. He's LeBron James. He's probably the second or third biggest guy. I believe Cristiano Ronaldo might be the biggest guy on the planet. 173 million the IG followers says that Cristiano Ronaldo is number 1. Maybe Messi. But LeBron is a top 2, top 4 guy, Skip, on the planet. Don't need no recognition at no AAU game for dunking in the in-game line. Don't need that attention.
Maybe if he'd cut in front of Bronny and then he had alley-ooped and set him
Right.
up for a dunk, I'd say that's cool.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And then walk away and go
Right.
take your seat.
Right.
I got that one.
Right.
I don't get this one because he's upstaging. He's not helping. He's
Right.
not playing with.
Right.
He's rising above.
I get it when Junior stole the ball and he flushed it and LeBron was all great and excited. He's like, yeah. And when they came on the court, they threw the alley hoop. The guy went between his leg and the other guy caught it and dunked it and he lost his shoe. He had to run back on the court. Skip, I get that. I don't necessarily agree with being on the court, but this right here, Skip, I don't get it. And I'm all in favor of LeBron. I'm LeBron James. 98.72% of the time. But this time, Skip, I
99.99.
Skip, 98.72% of the time.
And this is the one time? This is honestly one of the only times I remember you
Ever.
feeling.
No.
I'm trying to remember another example.
I just can't help projecting back to the guy I covered, Michael Jordan, and LeBron's always comparing himself and wants to pass Michael Jordan. I just can't imagine Michael in his prime or near the end of his prime as his kid played high school basketball. He had two kids play high school basketball, that he would ever stoop to doing this, because it would be beneath his dignity, and this was beneath LeBron's dignity.
But you know what, Skip? He's excited to see his kid. You know, he took time off. You know, he's supposed to be filming. You know, he's working 14 hours a day.
Is he?
Yeah, 14.
Thought he was working out 14 hours.
No. He get them like 2 in. He get like 2 hour and a half, 2 in,
Really?
get them shots in, then go get 14. He ain't sleeping very little. Very little.
I know, but right now, out of sight, out of mind.
They know how to
until
shot
that.
Skip, look here.
Yeah.
This is what Kawhi is. Kawhi is that high school. We all went to high school.
Yeah.
Kawhi is the new girl. Come to high school, she fine. Woo! Everybody trying to holler at her. But you know what? It's old reliable. The old reliable that never let you down. Everybody flocking them new thing. But old reliable. Old Goat James.
Reliable.
When it's all said and done.
That's really what we're calling him.
Hey.
Old phony goat.
No. Hey, what's that Elton John song? I'm still standing.
Yep.
I love that song.
I'm still standing.
I love him, but I don't love that song.
Really? Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Going nowhere.
Okay.
Going nowhere.
Hot seat next year. Prove it. Reprove it.
We prove it. We'll be watching carefully.
That's what we do. What we do.
But number 2's on a hot seat, too, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Now he's got to stand up to that.
Ooh.
Here
Well,
we go.
that's a lot of fire right
Here
there,
we
Skip.
go.
That's a
Very
lot.
few.
Yeah.
They normally have to go get reinforcements to stand up to it.
Well, late November, LeBron's going to have to be dunking on real players.
Yeah.
You know, hey, Skip.
A little bit different
Ask
audience.
Ilyasova. Ask Nurkic. Ain't been the same.
Just practicing. You got to get your practice in
You just
somewhere. It's a busy
Name
guy.
2 guys who can't jump a lick.
They're 7 foot tall.
okay.
We flush on. Now, we don't flush. I'll tell you what. You remember Kevin Garnett and the Kevin Harlan with no regard for mankind. He got Tim Duncan. Remember, he flushed on Tim. Is Tim Duncan big enough?
Many moons ago.
Don't do that, Skip.
Many moons.
Did you see the man's head was on the rim, Skip?
Just a couple.
The man's head was on the rim.
He can jump.
All right, guys, we got to go back to Ezekiel Elliott. Should he take some contract advice from Amari Cooper? He's been taking a bit of a different approach. We'll discuss.
No mercy.
Amari Cooper and Ezekiel Elliott are both looking for new contracts, but unlike Zeke, Amari has actually shown up to Cowboys training camp here in California. Amari was asked why he's not holding out and said this: different strokes for different folks. I have a 5th-year option coming up to where I get paid a significant amount of money if I play on that. But the running back position, you know, Melvin Gordon is one of my good friends, and he tells me the contract he would play on this year, it's nothing. I haven't really been thinking about my contract situation. I want to be here. I want to be out here running routes. I want to be out here catching balls from Dak because I think it's necessary, and I think it's going to help me achieve what I want to achieve this season. Okay, we're joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Greg, good to have you with us this morning. Who has the better strategy here? Are you going to go with Zeke or Amari?
Better strategy? I'm not going to say who has the better strategy, but whose strategy do I like the most?
Sure.
Amari Cooper. And I say this because this is what I would do if I were still playing. I would be present and allow my play. And
What if you was running back?
running back, that's why I'm not going to be against it, what Ezekiel Elliott is doing, because I understand the situation. Amari Cooper is coming. These are players on the same side of the ball coming from 2 different vantage points. One, your position is reliable in Amari Cooper on your quarterback. The chemistry you develop, the chemistry,
Timing.
the rapport you have with the offense, the coordinator, the other guys that are going to be lining up and running routes and catching those footballs from Dak Prescott. You have to have that timing, that chemistry across the board. Where you look at Ezekiel Elliott, And getting back to Amari Cooper, and he's the new kid on the block. This is his first training camp in Dallas. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to do what I know I need to do to make sure everything stays at ease. And plus, Jerry has already said, we're going to take care of Amari Cooper.
Right.
We're going to take care of all of our guys. We just don't know how we're going to do it. Getting to Ezekiel Elliott, however, different position. Running back position, the shelf life, the mentality of these guys is different because they understand, okay, look, I'm going to touch the ball 2 times more than what Amari would ever even touch it, possibly even more. And so
3 times what he touches.
Yes.
Double what he's going to be thrown in his direction.
Exactly. And so when I look at that, I have to then say, I don't mind Ezekiel Elliott's stance because he feels I'm the reason why we've been so successful. Is that selfish? Some may say it is, but it's self-value. You have to take advantage of where you are. He's watching all these other running backs take advantage of their striking the iron while the iron is hot. The value of these running backs is high right now. He's one of the top 2 or 3 running backs in the league, so you have to honor him as such. As well as it doesn't take a running back as much timing to get a handoff from a quarterback.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And so when I see this, I would totally side with Amari Cooper because that's who I am as a person, as an individual, as a teammate. I wouldn't want to distract. But at the same time, I respect what Ezekiel Elliott is doing because he's saying, you know what, I'm going to get it done this way.
You want me to go or you want to
Yeah,
go?
you can go.
Okay. Amari Cooper hit the nail on the head. Different strokes for different folks.
Yes.
For me, I look at Ezekiel Elliott, he understands. Skip, if Ezekiel Elliott comes to camp and he doesn't say a word, do you think the Cowboys will pay him without him making a noise? Absolutely not.
I don't know about that.
I do. Squeaky.
I'm with you there.
When was the last time a player, especially the running back, without now, like you said, now this was an isolated incident with the Rams because the Rams didn't have to do what they did to Todd Gurley.
Yes.
They basically tore that thing up. But the way they do business, if everybody did business like that, Skip, you know what? This guy's been unbelievable. He's been all pro. He works hard. He shows up, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do all that. But that's not how teams operate. Especially running backs now. And it's not the team's fault, Skip. It's not the player's fault. It's the CBA's fault. Because you got 4 years, I got your service. I got a 5th-year option, and I get 2 years of franchise tag. So I got you for 7 years at the number that I want.
Yes.
I can squeeze all this juice out of you. You ain't got nothing. You out here limping around. Nah, we good. And that's what the Steelers tried to do to Le'Veon Bell. He said, nah, I ain't gonna let y'all do that. Y'all put 400-plus carries on me last year. You'll never get another 400 unless you give me what I want. Skip, the thing is, you look at Zeke is almost 1,000 carries. Let me ask you, he's 1,000 carries into his career. Do you think Amari Cooper's taking 1,000 hits? Absolutely not.
More dangerous hits? Absolutely so.
Skip.
You just do at your position.
No.
At the receiver position?
No.
You're more exposed, but you're not getting hit by 300-plus guys weighing 2 times more
You're
your
just
weight.
leaving your feet off balance and get blindside smashed.
But that might happen a game. That might happen. You might be in that position, Skip, maybe once a game. Maybe twice.
Not even once a game.
But Zeke, we know Zeke going to take 17 hits per game. That's a given. Because he's not carrying the ball less than 17 times.
He might look for 10 of them.
Okay, he's running the contact.
Yeah.
So guess what? In the process of running into a guy, I need to grab the bag and run to the bank also. So, Skip, I got no problem with the way each guy's handling it the way they see fit because I believe each guy's handling it, as Greg said, that fits their personality. Zeke knows in order for me to get my payday, I'm going to have to threaten to hold this thing up because they know this train go. Because, Skip, if they didn't think Zeke was that valuable, they wouldn't even be. Look how the Chargers are addressing Melvin Gordon. We love to have Melvin here. Even Phillip Rivers said, yeah, well, we love to have Melvin, but the guys we got here look pretty dang good. Hey, Lynn, who I play with, say, hey, we like Melvin and hopefully it gets taken care of, but we going on what we got. They know that train. If you want to ride, if Dallas Cowboys want to ride the train, I don't know if Amtrak goes to Miami. But if you want to go to Miami, you better have 21 on there conducting that thing. Because if you don't, Skip Bayless, guess what? I'm going to get me 5 cases.
So, allow me to say that I love and respect what Amari Cooper is doing versus what Zeke is doing, because I love and respect what Amari is made of, and occasionally I wonder about what Zeke is made of.
You know
off
that
the
man
field.
made us.
And I don't know.
Okay, that's
Off the field.
okay.
I've been covering this game for a long, long time, and I was taught early on, even back to the 1970s, that holdouts usually do more harm than good. It can set you up to get hurt early in the year because you're not quite up to speed physically. You just haven't had any camp hits or preseason hits at all. And I go back to that age-old expression that you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, and sometimes you can catch more dollars. Because I remind you, those offensive linemen all got big paydays from Jerry Jones. Did they hold out for those paydays? No. Did Marcus Lawrence hold out for his payday? No.
They just rewarded him, Skip.
Okay,
If they just say, hey, Zeke, this is what we got for you. We got Todd Gurley money. Zeke have been there. And I ain't trying to catch flies. I don't want no flies.
Jerry Jones really well. And one thing I do know about him is he has a big ego and huge stubborn pride. And if you push that man too far, even if Super Bowl is hanging in the balance, if you push too far, he will push back. Jimmy Johnson, once upon a time, pushed him too far. He insulted him once too many times behind the scenes in front of assistant coaches and front office personnel. And after a while, Jerry said, you know what? I'm still the boss here. You're fired. Well, you just fired a coach. You just won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I'm just warning you that if you push too far and too hard and you make it personal on any front, you're asking for it, because this man is a billionaire.
And when did he push back? After when? After he won them Super Bowls. And you see, you keep saying you catch more flies with you catch
Honey
more
and vinegar.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. Because right now, Zeke say, I'm catching flies with boo-boo, because it's a boo-boo contract you got me playing on. Give me Todd Gurley money, and I'll come to camp. Okay. It's simple as that.
Okay, just remember what Amari has been through that Zeke has not. Amari got stuck in NFL hell for at least 1 year, almost 2 years, with John Gruden,
Yes.
who did not care for Amari for whatever reason, didn't like his motor.
His personality, he don't have that fire and passion.
Right.
He used to fire and passion guys.
And I think Amari had a hard time getting up in the morning, getting ready to go to work.
You had to go
And
down
all
that
of a
yelling
sudden,
and screaming.
he went from NFL hell to Dak Prescott heaven, because they clicked and connected
They
right
did.
away. So he loves playing with Dak for the Dallas Cowboys. And he knows they finally have a new offensive coordinator named Kellen Moore. And he's putting in a whole lot of new motion and a whole lot of new college-style pass plays. Well, you better be there to figure, as you point out, that position, you better have wavelength with that quarterback.
Yeah, and it's all about time. And if he had been there with Amari Cooper, say 5-6 years, see, that's why Julian Edelman, who's going to miss a lot of time. But Julian has played with Tom Brady for 7-8 years.
Yes. Yep.
So the rapport that
It's already present.
It's already present. They already know what each other's thinking.
I think you're going to see a dramatically different
yeah.
Cowboy attack this year,
Yeah.
as opposed to Tom Brady's, which will look pretty much like
Right, but the difference is that Amari only got 8 games of working with him. So now we get a training camp, because that's where the chemistry is found, Skip. I got to build that trust with you in camp. So that's when we can talk. Hey, run it like this. How's this guy playing me great? Oh, he's over the top. Well, I'm going to throw it like this. That's when you build that rapport. So come game time, what looks like second nature, you worked on this in camp.
And Jerry Jones has been through this before with a guy by the name of Emmitt Smith, someone you covered, correct? A guy who pushed, and then
he pushed too hard, and he finally alienated Jerry. He made him mad.
Well, it worked because his teammates recognized, as well as Jerry recognized, how important he really was and how valuable he was to that team.
He was
it did
the
not
straw
change
that stirred that drink.
It did not change their relationship.
No.
It didn't change the dynamic within that locker room. The guys still respected a young
After
Emmitt
they
Smith.
lost that game the Monday night to the Washington Redskins, tell the people at home what Charles Haley do to that wall.
No, it was Buffalo.
But
They lost to the
Buffalo.
Bills at home, 12-10.
And it was a Monday night, they opened up and they lost to Washington.
They did.
What
But it was after the Bills game.
What'd he do?
He took his helmet and flung it so hard against the wall, it crushed it. It indented it with a helmet. You know.
And this is the importance. This is the value and Ezekiel Elliott brings to the table. It's not just about him being selfish or wanting money. We understand that. But when you are going to take on the amount of responsibility that he takes on for this organization, for this offense, you owe it to him to say, you know what, let's at least talk about it. Let's meet you halfway. Let's come into camp. Let's talk through it. I'm not gonna get dressed. I'm not gonna get on the field.
I don't begrudge Zeke trying to get top dollar, but if you go with the honey approach, if you go to camp, because he doesn't do much in camp anyway, but you're just with the fellas, you're out there every day in the hot sun. Jerry's hanging around, and you walk off the field with Jerry one day, and you say, Jerry, I just need my money. And he puts his arm around you and he starts thinking, you know what? You deserve your money.
That sounds real good.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, it happens. It happens.
And you know why? All you got to do, I'm just going to ask you, look at New Orleans and look at New England. When Todd Gurley wasn't doing Todd Gurley things, how that offense look? And when Todd Gurley did Todd Gurley thing, they had a top 2 offense. When Todd Gurley wasn't doing Todd Gurley, Jared Goff is still there.
Did you see what C.J. Anderson did to my Dallas Cowboys? Where did he come from? Off his couch.
Hey, did you see what Todd Gurley do?
Yeah.
Todd Gurley hit his head on the goalpost also.
One time,
and
from 35 yards.
And he had 100+ yards.
Okay, he did, but C.J. had 173 yards.
And then what happened? In New Orleans? What happened in Miami? Against the Patriots. When Todd Gurley, they know. Skip, stop bull jiving the man and go ahead and get him. Teddy KGB say what? Pay that man.
Money.
Okay, we got to move on, guys. It's time to talk about Greg's old QB.
Yep,
Aaron
it
Rodgers
sure is.
actually overrated. We will discuss
Will Greg
all of
talk
that.
about that?
No mercy.
So last week, The Athletic asked 55 NFL coaches and execs to rank every starting quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers came out number 1. But this weekend, Buggy Brooks of NFL.com said that's crazy, and Rodgers isn't even a top 5 quarterback right now. He writes that since the middle of 2015, Rodgers is just 24-24-1 as a starter, and his completion percentage and passer rating have both gone down significantly. Greg Jennings still with us. Greg, do you agree?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Look, I've had my share of being critical of Aaron Rodgers and
You have?
and some of his shortcomings, if whatever the case may be. But this is not one. When I look at this list, and I love Bucky does a phenomenal job.
He does.
That's my guy.
Yep.
But to say Aaron Rodgers is not top 5, I don't know where Bucky has been. He's looking at too many stats. Stats don't always tell the full and complete story. That's my issue with this list. When I look at this list, we have a Patrick Mahomes. Is he special? Is he going to be transcendent? That's the hope. That's what we think he can be. But has he done it consistently more than a year? No. Do we believe he will? Yes. I believe we've seen enough with our eyes to take the eye test to say that kid is special. But when I look at Aaron Rodgers and I look at this list of quarterbacks, statistically, may they have some better numbers or records of teams? Possibly. But I look at things like this. If I take Aaron Rodgers and I compare him to all these quarterbacks, is there anything on any one of these quarterbacks that can do something that Aaron Rodgers can't do at any point in the game, under any position in the game, whether it's 2 minute, down 6, down 3, get my team the ball, first down, field goal, whatever the case may be? No, there's nothing any one of these quarterbacks can do that Aaron can't do. But when you flip that and you put Aaron in that position, the closest, with the exception of Patrick Mahomes now, that has ever come to being able to do everything that Aaron Rodgers can do, everything that he has in his toolbox, Russell Wilson. He's the only one that could potentially do anything close, remotely close. Not saying the others aren't great. Tom Brady, obviously, the greatest to do it because of all the acknowledgments and the achievements that he's had. But Aaron Rodgers, just because he's been injured, because he hasn't been in the playoff picture, because he doesn't have the wins, we want to all of a sudden say, man, this guy isn't what we think he is. Stop lying to yourself. This guy is special. And if any owner or general manager had the opportunity to reset their whole roster and say, I can start with a quarterback. They might pick Patrick Mahomes because he's younger. Russell Wilson possibly because he's younger. But Aaron Rodgers is coming off that board.
Maybe they'd be wrong.
Maybe not.
Nah, come on.
Look, I love Bucky. I think he does a great job. I think he's evaluating. Obviously, he was a scout. He's looked at enough film. But I got to disagree with him. I got to disagree with him, Skip Bayless, because here, what we're looking at, they don't shop. Aaron Rodgers is suffering from the same thing that has happened to LeBron James because he set a standard so high of being transcendent. Aaron Rodgers threw for 4,400 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 2 picks. It's the same thing. LeBron James won an MVP in Miami with 26, 8, and 7. And he won the MVP. He had 27, 8, and 8, and he stepped off a cliff. Because why, Skip? He didn't make the playoffs. Aaron didn't make the playoffs. You see, ultimately what we judge a quarterback by is Super Bowls. Did he win the Super Bowl? Well, no, he didn't. But it's been rarely that Aaron Rodgers has possessed a Super Bowl caliber defense because, as you mentioned last week, Skip, we went midway through the fourth quarter, and the score in the Super Bowl was 3-0.
It was.
Now, the St. Louis Rams had one of the top 2 offenses in all of football, and they had 0 points halfway through the fourth quarter.
Overrated quarterback.
Well, I don't know about overrated. All I know is about what the numbers say. The numbers said they had one of the top 2 offenses in all of football, as far as yards, as far as points. And Coach Belichick's defense. Now, he mentioned coaching staff. Do we think Mike McCarthy is anything comparable to Bill Belichick?
Nobody's pretty good. I think this man would say he's pretty good.
He is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what?
But to answer your question, no.
No, thank you. Do we think he's Sean Payton?
For a while he was. I mean, people kept saying he's the best play caller in the league.
You know what, Greg? For a while I was in college. For a while I was in college, but I ain't been there in a while, Skip Bayless. And you know that. See, that's what you see. That's the problem. That me and you see when me and you go at it, Skip Bayless, because you always do this. You always try to make it seem like Aaron Rodgers has had the best of the best. Tom Brady. Skip, if you don't mind me asking, and then I'm gonna let you have it, because you already know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady did something in the Super Bowl 51, I think. You told me he threw for the most yards in a playoff game in NFL history. Now, Jenny, I don't know if anybody knows this. The NFL is 100 years old this year. And no quarterback prior had ever thrown for more yards in a game than Tom Brady.
Playoff game, yeah.
In a playoff game. Skip, can you tell the people what happened to Tom Brady?
He
took the L.
Belichick happened.
Okay, he took the L. Why? Because
Bill Belichick benched Malcolm Butler, and they gave up 40 points to the Eagles' backup quarterback.
Well, Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson did not feel top 10 because when he had a top 10 defense, they went to and they won the Super Bowl. And when you have a 20th defense or a 25th ranked defense, you're not winning the Super Bowl, Skip Bayless. So Aaron Rodgers is top 5. Because all I know, you say Football Focus, they say when they graded that thing, who's that graded it? Then them 30 execs said Aaron Rodgers was tier 1.
Indeed.
He was first.
Yeah, but they were ripping him. They were slashing him.
You rip me.
But tell me I'm number 1.
Tell me I'm number 1.
We all got flaws.
Shannon Sharpe.
What?
Given where you rank and rate Aaron Rodgers, transcendent, all-time greatest thrower of the football, he has become the most overrated quarterback in the National Football League. He is no longer top 5 in production. Like, what does your eye test tell you? What do the numbers tell you? And the key numbers are wins and losses.
Yeah.
That's what Bucky based his premise on. He's just not winning the way he used to win. And you have to go way back to that long ago Super Bowl that you played in and you broke it open with the catch of the game. It's a better catch than a throw, but you did it. Well, he did.
Don't do that.
I credit him for that. But that was like 10 years ago.
Greg, don't let it fool you, Greg. He credited you, but you know he tried to take a swipe at you.
You already know it.
Aaron Rodgers is still top 5 in capability, but not in production. He's just not been doing it. I agree with you. I'll watch him in some preseason game this year, and I'll say, wow, he can really throw it. But when it comes time to win the football game, he's just not winning. His QBR has dropped each of the last 3 years. His percentage, his completion percentage has dropped each of the last 3 years. Last year, he went 6-9-1, and over the last 3 years, he's 20-18-1, which is 20th in football. Bucky had another stat, but the point is, last year, he shattered the NFL record for throwaways. And again, you can knock it or whatever you want to say. You can defend it all you want.
He don't put the ball in harm's way.
He just says, if I don't like what I see, third row, I'll just throw it in the ground because I'm not going to risk an interception. So he goes 25 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and he goes 6-9-1. He's in capability, he's still obviously top 5. In durability, he's bottom 5 because he just stays hurt. There's always something wrong. Well, that's part of this equation, right? So I'm with Bucky all along, but I've been telling you he's way overrated because he doesn't produce, and he hasn't produced. How many he got to the NFC Championship game at Seattle, and he was pretty ordinary in both of those games. I got to tell you,
playing against some special defenses.
Right.
But Skip, when you look at this, okay, look how many yards did Patrick Mahomes have? Played great, 50-10, 50-12. But what let him down? His defense. Ben Roethlisberger threw for the 7th most yards in NFL history. What let him down throughout the course of the season? His defense. It doesn't matter, Skip. But look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady had 0 touchdowns and interception or 26 QBR. Now, you know they measure QBR, 0 to 150 being average. He was 26, and he won the Super Bowl because his defense gave up 3 points, Skip Bayless.
And because he completed 5 straight passes in one drive that produced the touchdown.
Aaron Rodgers completed 22 straight passes.
I'm not going to even go on the defensive rant. Forget the defense. Let's just focus on Aaron Rodgers, the man. Number one, I'm with you with this LeBron James comparison because the standard was so high. He's the reason why the guys like Patrick Mahomes are so highly touted and sought after now because of what he was able to do in changing the game at that position.
The throws that he can make.
But since when did we start tracking throwaways? Since when did we care about throwaways?
I don't know, 10 years ago?
No, 10 years ago.
No. It wasn't until last year when he was throwing the ball away.
He broke the record. He broke it.
No one ever. If he broke the record for interceptions, would you talk about that more, or would you care about the throwaways?
Because when you played with a guy named Brett, and they say, Brett, you're forcing the ball because he was getting picked off. Now he doesn't put the ball in harm's way, and so now you criticize him for that.
It's like he
How
can't
many times did Brett pull off a throw through a tight window where you said, how did he do that?
And he's done the same thing. And then
that throw on the sideline.
Keeping it on Aaron Rodgers, keeping it on him.
How did he do it? He's wide open. What are you talking about?
Though he wasn't playing injured last year. He wasn't been injured the year before. We act as though everything has been just crystal clean with his health to where he can play at the highest level. No, it's unrealistic. Even with being healthy and playing a 17-week season, he still are going to have some ups and downs, some bumps and bruises. But he has not been at full strength and health.
Watch him this year.
Let alone being at odds with your offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Doesn't help.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up because we do dramatically question his leadership skills after that expose that ran. You contributed partly to that. And let me point out that on last Friday, we did what's called Skip Rides the Roller Coaster. We did our third one, and I got a great question.
What?
Right here, right now, if you could start a franchise in the NFL with Aaron Rodgers and try to win a championship, or in the NBA with LeBron James and go try to win a championship, as they are, right here at this age.
I'm taking LeBron.
I'm taking LeBron also because Aaron Rodgers, his durability is highly questionable. His accuracy has become questionable, and all LeBron remains, he's still the best passer in basketball.
The reason why I would take LeBron, because he can help, because like when Tom Brady threw for 505, he was helpless. He couldn't help the defense.
Exactly.
See, LeBron James, he can guard Kawhi. Now, maybe he's not what he once was, but maybe he can slow down a Kawhi. Maybe he can slow down the opposing team, one of their best players.
But I'll take LeBron's leadership over Aaron Rodgers' leadership, and that factors into being a top 5 quarterback.
Well, you'll eat those words this year. You'll eat those words this year, Skip Bayless.
It's like this in the Bible. It says love covers a multitude of sins. When you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, it covers a multitude of flaws. And
Really?
that's what's been That's what's been the Achilles heel of the Green Bay Packers. He's been trying to cover all the flaws defensively, offensively, schematically, and they've been putting all that on him.
When you go to Macy's makeup counter, they got that Rodgers up there. His head cover blemishes. You got a bad head coach, it'll cover it up. You got a terrible defense, he'll cover it up.
You want to win, he won't cover it up.
Yeah,
He'll cover up everything.
Yeah.
You expect big things from him this year, though.
I
Greg.
do.
Okay.
I do. I'm not going to be unrealistic and say that these guys aren't special.
Yeah.
But all four, and then battling for 6, Andrew, come on, Bucky.
Okay. All right. Good to have you with us always, Greg. Thanks for being
You
here.
ought to be ashamed of yourself.
We have been talking
I will
about
prove it again.
Zeke and if the Cowboys should pay him, but is it time for the Cowboys to give Dak his money?
Yes, it
this
is.
Should be interesting. We'll tell you next.
No mercy.
Okay, Dak Prescott is near the top of the list of Cowboys that want a new contract, and while Ezekiel Elliott holds out, Dak is at camp. On Friday, the Cowboys quarterback said he's not distracted by any of it and added, quote, "I'm not here to talk about my contract. It will happen when it happens." So, Shannon, how quickly will Dak's deal get done?
It should get done, but not before Zeke. And Dak is handling it as well as you can possibly handle a situation like this. Skip, Dak hadn't even made $3 million yet. He's been a starter for ever since he's been into the league. He's led the team to 2 division titles. He's one of the playoff game. I don't even know why we even got here. This should have been done long ago. But because, they're trying to penny pinch him and Stephen Jones is sowing these seeds. If Dak doesn't give us a discount, he doesn't care about winning. And, he got commercials. And, if you win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys, you set up. No, I ain't no worry about what I'm doing after football. I'm talking about what I'm doing while I'm playing football. Mm-hmm. I need to get my money. So you saw what Carson Wentz got. That's where I am, Skip. I mean, what you want me to tell you? I wish there was something I can tell you. I can tell you need to pay the man. And y'all penny pinching, you nickel and diming him and all that stuff. Get a man his money. Because guess what? If Dak wasn't performing, you would release him. Now he's performing. Pay him his money. Skip, you've done a great job. Will McClay has done unbelievable. To find a Dak and to get a Zeke and Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick and Zach Martin and Jalen Smith and Byron Jones and the Wolf Hunter.
The Wolf Hunter.
Got them all. But the
You
thing,
just described a Super Bowl team.
yeah. But I keep telling you, your head coach and the quarterback is your albatross.
The quarterback is now an albatross.
Hold out.
Did we get that on tape?
But he should get paid.
that's
I
on
want him
Oh,
to get paid.
Okay.
The man deserved to get paid, and you know it.
He is playing it the right way because Jerry also loves him some Dak, and Dak is there working hard, and Jerry will one day in the next couple of weeks put his arm around Dak and say, "We're about to get this done, and you're about to be taken care of." And I believe he will get more money than Carson Wentz got, and that's a lot of money.
Whoa, that ain't what you said before. You said no. You said
right
discount.
in there.
You said hometown discount.
He'll get his money.
Yeah.
I'm good with that because he has earned his money.
Totally
and he will
agree.
continue to earn his money because you want to talk about durability?
Yeah.
Has he missed a start yet in 3 years? No.
Durability-wise,
And by the way, we just talked about transcendent. Aaron Rodgers, the greatest thrower of the football ever. So Dak has met him 3 times in his career, and Dak has an average QBR in those 3 games of 80, and Aaron has average QBR in those 3 games of 62.
What's his average?
80 to 62.
What's the average win-loss?
It's 1-2.
Okay, what that is? So that what?
But-
33%?
Guess who has the second most wins over the last 3 years to Tom Brady? It's Dak Prescott. As we know, I know you get sick of hearing this, but Jerry Jones knows that he can recite these facts right now.
What
these
are they?
stats. First 3 years of his career, Dak has set the all-time record for completion percentage.
Okay.
First 3 years of his career, he has 18 QBRs over a score of 80. It's 0s to 100. No quarterback has more than 18 over 80. And no quarterback over the last 3 years has more game-winning drives than Dak Prescott. And one quarterback got beaten twice last year by Dak Prescott within the NFC East, and his name is Carson Wentz.
Okay.
He started 2 games, and guess what my quarterback did in the fourth quarters and overtime of those
What'd he
2
do?
games? He went 24 of 28 for 331 and 4 touchdowns and no interceptions just in the fourth quarter of 2 games plus 1 overtime.
Well, you already know.
Wow.
I don't even
Interesting.
want to tell you what Zeke did. But anyway, you keep telling me now. You said Jerry knows. Jerry put his arms around him and say, Dak, I love you.
I got you.
Dak, you got 2 division titles. I appreciate that.
Yep.
You got the highest completion percentage in your first 3 years. You got 18 game winning drive. And Dak turns around and said to him, "But where my money? Where the money?"
I don't think Dax is going to turn and say
Yeah, then where the
Oh,
money?
he will
Yeah,
not
make the
say
money.
that.
Yeah, make the money right.
Yeah.
Because Stephen Jones is out here planting seeds, trying to tell sway Cowboy fans, if Dak, if Dak don't give us a hometown discount, he don't care about winning. No, I care about my bread. I want my money, Stephen. Now give it up.
Do I think Dak wants to win Super Bowls, plural? Yes, I do.
And you guess what, Skip? This is what I found out. You can win Super Bowl plurals and make a lot of money. They're not mutually exclusive. You just don't have to have one without the other.
Every once in a while, you have to sacrifice just a little bit. Ask Tom Brady.
I'm sacrificing my time.
Huh.
I might want to start dating, and I don't date because I got too much time. I got to invest in football, so I'm sacrificing something. I ain't sacrificing money.
LeBron could have said, "I don't want $36 million a year."
Bayless.
He could have said that. He
We
could
ain't
have said,
talking about LeBron.
"Give me $15 million," the way Tim Duncan.
I wish LeBron James would ever take $15 million when he could be making $36 million. I wish he might.
Okay, and yet there is a cap in the NBA. It's a little softer than the
Yeah.
NFL's, but still, you realize how much he has damaged his chances to win.
He ain't damaged that. That's LeBron.
he hasn't damaged it.
LeBron James' job is to go out there and to play basketball at a very high level. His job is not to worry about the cap. That's what you're paying those other guys for. That's why you have capologists. That's why you have GMs. That's why you have VPs of basketball operations. That's
So
not
why
LeBron
wouldn't
James.
Tom Brady say, "Give me my money. I want $35 million."
Don't worry about what.
Is he worth it? You better
take-
believe it.
Tom's a bit different.
Skip, let me tell you what I do. I learned a long time ago is that I don't worry about what that man got going on in his house. Because see, what the thing is, when you start worrying about what he got, man, he got that car, and then you go get that car and go get that house, you spend your time worried about how you gonna pay for that. That man's sleeping comfortably. I don't worry about Tom Brady. I'm worried about me. Now, Jerry, what can you do for me? I know what Mr. Kraft's doing for Tom Brady. What you gonna do
What if I
for me?
told you about Dak? He is Brady-esque. So maybe he should be slightly Brady-esque.
Bobby Brady-esque.
Bobby Brady?
Brady Bunch.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's Ernestine, one of her favorite shows.
Yeah, well, that just.
I don't know.
I want you to stop doing this. Will you stop comparing these young quarterbacks to Tom Brady? Tom Brady
Why
by
not?
himself.
Setting the
why
standard, right?
What standard?
And it shouldn't matter that his wife makes more money than he does.
It
Because
does-
it's the principle of how much are you worth, Tom Brady?
Well, I spent a lot of time in the principal's office because I was cutting up. And if you don't give me my money, I'll start cutting up again if I was Dak Prescott.
They all
really
need
think
you
so?
to be their agent. Jeez.
Oh, I get that bread.
Fighting over here.
I get that bread for him.
He's
Gosh.
just trying to destroy my locker room. He's
Yeah.
trying to destroy my salary cap.
Skip, how am I trying to skip? I performed. I thought this was a performance-based deal. I perform, I compensate. You get compensated. Let me ask you a question. If Dak Prescott had turned, even as a fourth rounder, if he had turned out to be a bust, would he still be on this roster? Would they still be paying him?
That is
Well,
interesting
the
to
point is,
consider.
he wasn't a bust.
Exactly. So I want my money.
Okay?
All right,
He's gonna
all
get
right.
it.
No, now.
Now.
They want
He'll
it
get
now.
it
So around here, everyone loves talking about the Lakers, the Clippers, their potential, but is the best team in the West actually the Rockets? We'll discuss everything there next.
No mercy.
On Friday, the Rockets introduced their new superstar, Russell Westbrook. Houston will pair Russ with another ball-dominant former MVP in James Harden. One NBA exec said, quote, "Swapping CP3 for Westbrook is an upgrade." Holy cow, are they hard to defend? And they kept all the other important guys. I think they're the best team in the Western Conference right now. So, Shannon, could you see Houston being the best in the West?
No, I don't. I believe the Clippers, I believe the Lakers are better than them. Utah, the way they play, move the basketball, they're always going to be a tough out. I still believe, I believe they'll be a top 4, top 5 team, Skip, but the best team with 2 ball-dominant players in there, and Russ, I heard the press conference, and he said all the right things. James and I have played together before, but you weren't what you are today. James Harden wasn't an MVP. You weren't an MVP. You didn't have the usage rate, and he didn't have that usage rate. Skip, they're a three-point shooting team. So as far as guys with at least 300 attempts, 350 attempts, I think, The worst three-point shooter in the NBA was Russell Westbrook. So James Harden get the ball. He kicks it in the corner to Russ. Clank. You had 2 basketballs? I agree. They'd be special. I just don't see it. Now, we question whether or not Harden and CP3 can play together. And I get it, maybe, whatever happened, they fell out of favor, yada, yada, yada. Get all that. But to just think, because these guys played together once upon a time, when they were not the players that they are now, they'll be able to come back together. I don't see it.
Yeah, I do see it.
Oh, you see them the best team in the West?
I think they have a real shot at being the best team in the West, which is wide open.
It ain't open.
I love this team. I love this pairing at this stage and age that these two are. I think this will work to the point they will be better than last year. Their over-under the other day, as we saw, was 52 games. They won 53 last year. I think they'll win 55 this year because it will click and it will work. What did Russ say? We have been friends since we were 10 years old. They both grew up in Southern California, right here in the LA area. And they grew up together for 3 years in Oklahoma City. Then they split and they got their individual accolades and they piled them Hall of Fame high. They got MVPs, they got triple doubles, they got revolutionized the way you play basketball. That's over. Now they're reuniting at a point when they need to win one championship. And they know they need to sacrifice to win it. They have each led this league in assists, so they can both flat out pass the basketball.
But that makes you I just want to know one thing. If it's so easy to sacrifice, why couldn't James Harden do it before? And why was Russ so unwilling to do it for 10 years?
Because James Harden and Chris Paul were not friends.
Oh, hold on.
And they got unfriendlier by the dribble.
Okay, I get all that. So he only became this type of ball player once CP3 arrived. He was always a very sacrificial player. He was always looking out for the best interest of his team. Is that what you're telling me?
And you said Russ is a bad three-point shooter. They won't be a three-point shooting team. What does Mike D'Antoni do best? He X's and O's offense.
Yeah.
He will recreate and reinvent their whole attack around a left-handed scorer and a right-handed scorer.
But Skip, he built this team with the exception of Russ. They're still a three-point shooting team.
Well, they'll do some of it, but it won't be all or nothing. And by the way, what I love the most about the deal, they kept everybody.
Yeah.
They kept my guy Austin Rivers. They got the whole. They got the bench.
Yeah.
They got Gerald Green. They're loaded. This is a good basketball team.
I'm not saying they're not good, but I don't believe they're the best.
I believe it will click.
But I love, you know what, Skip, baby, this is what I'm seeing about you. You believe everybody will click. You believe the Clippers will click. You believe Utah will click. You believe everybody will click.
The Clippers will click on defense.
I believe you believe everybody will click except you know who. Why is that?
Because he's in his 17th year.
They got nothing to do with that.
And Anthony Davis has never been in this hot of a spotlight.
Okay,
And they got a whole new roster, and they're going to throw it all back together and see if it works. Houston has the same old roster, adding Russ.
But you're gonna bring two guys that they shared the ball once upon a time, but they were never like that. So you think, okay, they're water. We freeze them, we unthaw it, and guess what? They water again. Oh, that's what you believe, huh?
They were cryogenically frozen.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see the
cryogenically
dynamics.
frozen.
That's good. I like that one. Should the Warriors be upset with Klay Thompson's weekend? You guys see what he was up to? We'll tell you next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. About a month ago, Klay Thompson had ACL surgery, but this weekend he posted on Instagram that he was going on a little vacation. Klay was seen doing a little dance on a private jet and said he was going wakeboarding. Shannon, are you surprised by this?
I'm very surprised, Skip, especially he had surgery less than basically a month ago.
Yeah, a month.
And normally guys, at least when they're up around and moving, they have on a brace, at least for 6 weeks. To make sure the knee is stable before they start doing all this. And I ain't got no problem with him wakeboarding. I mean, it's, water, and the buoyancy is okay, I get all that. But the way he's moving around, so I'm really surprised. Maybe, who knows, Bob Myers, maybe someone in the Warriors organization give him a call, hey, Klay, settle down. I know you're feeling good, but, the City Boys, we winning right now, so we feeling real good about what we got going on.
What have I told you about Klay Thompson? The ultimate warrior. Remember, he wanted to keep playing that night of Game 6 when he wrecked his knee, right?
Yes.
He came back on the court.
He wanted to play Game 3 with the hamstring.
There you go. So to me, they are getting so good at this surgery that I am not surprised by what I saw, because knowing him and knowing that surgery, and if you get the right surgeon and he has a good day and it comes back together right on time, I could see by January, February, he would come back full force, full speed. And if he does, the Warriors are going to be a big factor next year.
Yeah, but I'm still Skip. I mean, that's to be moving around like he's moving around only a month after that surgery. I get it. Yeah, they're getting really good. Dr. Elatrosh, these guys are great. They're perfected.
Yeah.
James Andrews.
They are perfecting it.
But Skip,
sometimes they don't even reattach it. They just let it go.
yeah,
Have you guys gone wakeboarding though? That's scary. I've had some bad falls wakeboarding. I don't know if that would be
I don't
something
do
I'd
the water
be doing.
thing.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.